Back when I used to struggle to get laid or get a girlfriend, I was making a huge mistake that cost me opportunities with at least 100 beautiful women that I had met. I didn't realize that there are 3 stages of desire that a woman goes through when you meet her, and when you get to stage 3, it's on. You're in. Right? She wants you. And the stages can happen within about 30 seconds if you do it right. But I wasn't even aware of the first stage, right? What I was doing initially was that I was thinking that if I was going to get results with women, including beautiful women, then it was about them liking me as a person, right? I had to be liked by them as a person. And I assumed that if I started talking to a beautiful woman or a woman that I found attractive, then she would realize that I was a good guy, and she would then decide that, oh, this guy is suitable for me, and she would want to be with me. She would choose me. But they didn't. And the reason why is that the very first stage is not about being liked by a woman. It's about creating a spark. So once I figured out that you need to create a spark of attraction inside of the woman at the start, and that's what you need to do, women started to feel attracted to me, right? There was a spark, but there was a problem, right? The beautiful women, the feminine, beautiful ones that pretty much every guy wishes he could have, they would feel a spark, and then I would notice that their interest would die within seconds. They would just lose interest. And I was thinking, well, it must be that I'm not good looking enough. That must be the reason. Right? It must be that they are feeling a spark of attraction, but then they're looking at me thinking, yeah, but you're not good looking enough, so sorry, we're not interested. And that really messed with my confidence. But when I thought about it, I realized that I had seen plenty of examples of guys who weren't good looking and they had a beautiful girlfriend or a pretty girlfriend. So I knew that there had to be something else to it. And I put my mind to it, and I eventually realized that there is a second stage, right? It's not just about creating a spark. Creating a spark is fun, and you get to see that women find you attractive for those initial few seconds, but then it goes on to the next stage, and that is the dynamic. So the spark is where you say or do something that sparks her attraction, right? And once you do that, you've got her attention and she's feeling a spark of desire for you. When you create a spark, it automatically then moves to the second stage, which is the dynamic, right? So this is where she decides whether or not the dynamic between you and her is attractive to her or not. If she doesn't feel attracted to the dynamic between you and her, then she loses interest and starts to close up. If she does feel attracted to the dynamic between you and her interest increases, her desire increases, and she opens up to you. She then automatically moves on to the third stage, which we'll get to in a second. Right, so here are a few examples of an unattractive dynamic. If a guy creates a spark by being confident, but is then unable to keep a conversation going with her because he's lost for words, then it's not an attractive dynamic, so her desire for him decreases. Another example is if a guy creates a spark by saying a funny line, but is then nervous and unsure of himself, it's not an attractive dynamic, so her desire for him decreases. And finally, if a guy creates a spark by being assertive, but then only talks to her like a neutral friend for hours, rather than flirting with her to create sexual tension, then it's not an attractive dynamic, so her desire for him decreases. On the other hand, if you create a spark with a woman as soon as you start interacting with her, and then she senses that the dynamic between you and her is attractive, it then moves on to the third stage of desire, and that is what I call the woo, the window of opportunity. Right, so the window of opportunity, or the woo, is where she opens up a window of opportunity for you to continue the interaction with her and move things forward, for example, to a phone number, kiss, sex, date, or relationship. I used to fail at the third stage of desire. I'd create a spark with a beautiful woman, and the dynamic between her and I was attractive enough to the point where it got to the woo, right? So I was being confident and continuing the conversation with her, and I may add in a bit of flirting or what I call playfully challenging humor, or she just may sense that I'm not trying to suck up to her to hopefully get a chance and so on. And there was an attractive dynamic, and she would feel like, okay, this guy's cool. I like this guy. But I would then doubt myself. I'd be thinking, well, yeah, she's feeling a spark, and yeah, I'm continuing the conversation, but she's beautiful. So as if she's going to want me, right? There are other guys around here that are tall, and I'm 5'9" in terms of height. That guy over there looks like a model. That guy's got big muscles. Surely she wants that guy, not me. Who am I to think that she wants to give her phone number to me or kiss me or go home with me tonight? As if. I'd automatically think those sort of things because throughout my life, it had not been the experience for me that I would talk to a beautiful girl and she would really want to be with me and then I'd get with her. Instead, they just weren't interested because I was making that initial mistake, not even realizing that I needed to create a spark, and instead I was hoping to be liked as a person. But being liked as a person is not the same as a woman feeling sexual desire for you. And back before I even figured out that you need to create a spark, I was losing opportunities with attractive girls and eventually beautiful women because I didn't even know that you needed to do that. So they weren't even interested. And I just got used to seeing that pretty women and beautiful women didn't find me attractive. They weren't interested in me. And as a result, when I eventually figured out how to create a spark and I was keeping the conversation going, I naturally had self-doubt that she would actually want to be with me. It's like, yeah, she's smiling and we're keeping the conversation going here, but maybe she's just talking to me because I'm talking to her. Maybe she's just in a bit of a friendly mood. Maybe she doesn't really feel attracted to me and is just enjoying the conversation, right? So when the woo would open, I wouldn't then move it forward to a phone number, kiss, or sex that night. And secretly, I was kind of hoping that the women would help me, right? Like, show lots of interest here and show me that you like me and help make something happen. But with the types of women that you really want, they just don't do that. So when I eventually figured out what's really going on in a woman's mind when she opens the woo, and I started acting on that, that's when I started getting laid like a rock star, right? That's when everything changed. When I started to get with beautiful women and I started to have multiple beautiful women in my life at once. And for me personally, I didn't want to stop doing that. I wanted to enjoy it, right? So I went on for over 10 years to be with a lot of women. Sometimes I stopped to have a girlfriend and that was fun. But I never wanted to settle down. I just wanted to continue enjoying it and I wanted to continue learning because I eventually got to the point where I left my 9-to-5 job and decided that I wanted to help men with this. And as a result, it just made sense to me to continue on mastering this area rather than just settling down and not knowing anything more. So I continued on for about 10 years and then I decided to settle down when I met my perfect girl. And we've been together ever since. And it's very important for you to know as a man that making a woman go through the 3 stages of desire is something that any man can do. Right? Any man can create a spark of attraction inside of a woman. Any man can be displaying the type of traits and behaviors that cause a woman to realize that the dynamic between her and the man is attractive. And as a result, she then opens the woo. Right? She opens the window of opportunity. And once the window of opportunity is open, you're in. You have a chance with her now, right? She is literally open to you continuing the conversation with her at the very least, but she may also be open to exchanging phone numbers or giving you her phone number or kissing you or going on a date with you or having sex with you that night or getting into a relationship with you, depending on where you meet her and what the circumstances are, right? So once you understand how to go through the 3 stages of desire, it's no longer a struggle for you. It's no longer a case of you interacting with a woman and hoping that she's going to like you enough as a person to give you a chance or make it really obvious that she wants to be with you. Because the women that you really want, they're just not going to do that, as you may have experienced. And if you're able to create a spark with a woman and the dynamic between you and her is attractive enough, then when it comes to the woo, you need to have enough confidence in yourself to move things forward. And if you start doubting yourself, at that point, then you're going to lose your opportunity with her, right? Because most women would rather go without than have to help the guy through the process, right? They want to see that he is confident enough and man enough and also interested enough in her to continue to move things forward. So no doubt you've learned something from this video already and have probably been realizing opportunities that you've missed with women that you found attractive, right? Because you either didn't create a spark or didn't create the attractive dynamic or the woo was there and you didn't act on it. Right? But at least you know that now. And if you want to know my best ways to create a spark and how to create an attractive dynamic and then have the confidence to act on the woo, then head over to Master Attraction and I'll teach you my secrets. At Master Attraction, I'll teach you how to create a spark with women that you meet, so they automatically see you as a potential lover or boyfriend. And then how to create an attractive, enjoyable dynamic when you meet women, and then how to effortlessly maintain that when in a relationship. And finally, what to say and do when the woo is open, so you don't miss your chances with new women who want to sleep with you or lack the confidence to initiate things with your woman when in a relationship. This is something that will completely change your life. You'll love how you feel when you interact with women and they actually feel attracted to you, and you see their eyes light up at the start when you create a spark. And then as you continue the interaction, they're interested in you, they're feeling drawn to you, they like how they feel when they're interacting with you because the dynamic is attractive, it's enjoyable, it's appealing. And you'll love it when you then see the woo, right? The window of opportunity opening where the woman is interested in you, it's on, you're in, and now she wants something to happen. And finally, you'll love how confident you feel in the moment where you feel worthy of that beautiful woman and you actually act on the woo and end up in bed with her, end up in a relationship with her, and you realize that you've got this area of your life sorted. It's a really cool thing to experience. I hope you don't miss out on it. I hope that I can help you with this. And if you don't want to head over to masterattraction.com, I'll continue to help you on YouTube. What I teach on YouTube is different, but I really hope to see you over at Master Attraction so I can share my best secrets with you. Until then, see you in the next video.